just soft as an easy test, fresh as the morning test. What's going on out there, y'all? I'm just having some fun, having a late night shed, watching the collapse of Chuck E. Cheese. Yo, listen, I gotta get used to this, so I might as well practice now. Let's have a little talk, y'all. All right, it may sound foolish, and I may sound like a blooming idiot, but you gotta get good. There we go. You know what's crazy? When you have kids, there we go. When you have kids, and you gotta take them, because kids, they always having, your people, your friend, who married with kids, they all got, they take their kids to Chuck E. Cheese. So, of course, you got to bring your kids. And we got 2 girls and 2 boys. The girls are bookends. The youngest and the oldest. The 2 boys in the middle. So when my daughter was born, girls are kind of mild-mannered. You don't got to worry about them tearing up the house. But boys, once the boys come, it ain't like this no more. Actually, when we first had a girl, and then our son came up, little boys, we learned by imitation. First, he was imitating everybody. His sister, his mama, me, the dog. And for the most part, he was a mild-mannered kid. That is, until he got his younger brother, and that's when stuff got wild. Hanging from the ceiling, putting holes in the wall, everything. Just being boys. So now I got 2 girls. Well, I got a girl, 2 boys. She got 2 younger brothers. So now because she wanted a younger brother. She wanted a younger brother. She said, we were like, hey, we asked, when we had the 2, say, hey, mom's gonna have another one. What do you want? They both said they want a brother. When my other son came, it was like, she was like, I want another sister. Girls and 2 boys, and they cover a huge age range. That being said, unleash them kids on Chuck E. Cheese and expect them not to come home with some germs. So a lot of years, this was the sick house. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. That's what's crazy. That's what's crazy. I can't imagine people not enjoying having kids. I can't, man. And we got four. I can't, you know. If it were really up to us, we'd have six, but, it's just too much. Um, but yeah, I can't imagine not wanting to have kids. I can't. I can't imagine not enjoying having kids, but the only situation I've ever been in terms of kids is I'm best friends with the woman I had kids with. We're married. We're best friends. We've made a decision, a firm decision. We are each other's soulmates, and that's it, and that's, ride or die, Like, this was before we were married. We were, like, firmly convinced, like, okay, she's the one. Okay, he's the one, you know. And it was just, this is it, you know. It was just like we fit. It was like a piece of a missing part of, we were each other's missing part, so it was wild, you know. Um, which is wild. That's another story. How we met. Like I wrote a letter to her. I wrote a love letter to my wife before I even met her. And I forgot about it. And I hid it from myself. Um, and my wife found it. This is before I even knew my wife. I wrote that letter. And I wrote that letter on our anniversary. Didn't know it. It ended up being our anniversary. Mind you, I hid the letter from myself. My wife found the letter. And at that time, I think we only had 3 kids. Our youngest is 10. So this was longer than that. It was probably like 12 years ago. It's about 12 years ago. Yeah, about 12 years ago. And yeah, my wife found the letter. And she was like, "What?" And it was just like, "To my future wife." That's what it said, "To my future wife." Something told me, "You're going to get married." Didn't know my wife from a can of spray paint. Something literally told me, "Oh, she's out there. You're going to get married." And I at the time, I was like, "I'm never going to get married. I'm good. I'm good on marriage. I'm straight. I'm good. I ain't got no kids. I got to worry about nothing." Like, for real, I was like, I'm good. And I'm good means I'm happy being single. I got my time. I do what I want, whatever. And then something was like, prepare for marriage. Right? This is before I even knew my wife. Something said, ding, prepare for marriage. She's out there. And and I took that to mean um, work on refining your character. Work on leading, you know, work on, just the little things, seek advice. Look at the married people that you know. Look at the husbands. Watch how he treats their wife. How do their kids turn out? You know what I mean? Um, are their kids responsible? Okay. Then they probably have good advice about child rearing. You know, look at the dynamics between them. I know quite a few people. I knew quite a few married people when I was single. I knew a lot of people when I was single. I just know a lot of people. So I knew a lot of single people and a lot of married people. You know, a lot of my friends were married and they had kids. A lot of my friends were single. You know, and it was so I knew a lot of people. And I was like the kind of dude where if I knew your wife was like, well, I'm cool with Mark. I don't gotta worry about him. He not trying to, you know. I wasn't about chasing women. I was about chasing money. So, you know. Um. So, you know, and I always had respect for other dudes, like my friends' relationship and stuff like that. So, I'd be like, bro, don't even come, cause it's not that type of party. And you married. You know, we bringing sand to the beach. You know, and even still, you married. Go on, get out of here. You know, because I wouldn't want any of my friends. I wouldn't want. I wouldn't want my wife's friends trying to lure my wife out for the wrong kind of good time, or I wouldn't want one of my wife's single friends. Like you know what I mean. I wouldn't want that. My wife wouldn't befriend a woman like that, and I wouldn't be a friend like that, and I really wouldn't befriend anybody like that. If you don't have any boundaries or or morals, you don't respect the sanctity of marriage. You don't respect much else. You know, which means you don't respect friendship. You know, which means you don't respect nothing. You don't respect anything, bro. You respect money and yourself and your belly. There's a scripture in the Bible says your God is your belly. Their gods are their belly. You respect your belly. You know, but I mean that's another thing. I had oh, I was about to say something. I know this dude, man. I was in this band with this dude, um, and the way I ended up in the band was, um, did I have dreads back then? Yeah, I did. I had dreads back then. Um, um, when I joined this band, I was fresh home. I had money in my pocket, dreads flowing. No, I hadn't just got home. I had a really, really wild summer. An incredibly wild summer. I had a really, really wild summer. And I had that summer glow and my dreads were flowing. And like I lived on the beach at that time. I lived on the beach. Um, and I remember I had on really nice jeans, really, really nice jeans, Gaps, nice ones. Um, that was when Gap was making really, 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 really nice clothes. Um, this was like the '90s. Um, and I'd seen this one guy. I was hustling at the time during that summer. I was hustling. When I say hustling, I was a street pharmacologist, but I was hustling. Um, and this one guy that used to be on the block, I used to be with. Mm, I don't want to. I don't want to put no names out there, but like it was like where the Latinos. I say like not Latin, just the Puerto Ricans. Like I knew a lot of people in that area of town. A lot of dudes I grew up with, they lived over there. Angel Diaz, all them guys, all my BMX bros, you know. So I was always in that neighborhood, you know. Um, and it was kind of like it was like a lot of Puerto Ricans and Portuguese people and a few black people, and it was like right around an elementary school. It was a really nice area. Yeah, there's a few black people there, and it was just like the place to hang out. But down the street, well, that place it was like really really nice. I just knew people there. I was always there. I was always riding my bike through there. My boy Angel, he had a half pipe over there. His half pipe was smaller than mine. Mine was like 8 foot, and it was probably like ooh 8 foot high with an 8 by 6 foot deck. Never got a chance to put a rolling in. Um, but I want to say it was about 25. It was about 16 feet wide, about 25 feet long, 8 feet high, with a deck. And then I had a quarter pipe. I had a 6 foot quarter pipe off to the side. And then I had like various kick ramps that I had made. Um, um, but I forgot what my point was. Um, oh, but I used to hang in that area. Um, we would go, we would go to Angel's Ramp on the way to the beach because he lived closer to the beach than I did. He lived like 10 minutes from the beach. I lived like maybe 20, 25 minutes from the beach. So, you know, um, um, but at the time I was hanging up the street from there, which was it wasn't a known spot, but if you knew, you knew. You had to go upstairs. You had to, you know, and I was hustling with them. At first, I just started flipping, and then they was like, "What are you doing?" And they were looking at me. They would, because I was when I was flipping, I dressed like a bum. I wasn't trying to dress nice. I was trying to get money. So I didn't have any money. So I was, I wore regular clothes. I dressed like a bum. I just not like a bum, but like regular. Um, and then when I made money, I would just like buy a car or something, you know, or buy like a piece of gear, you know, or buy like an amp and a couple guitars, and just learn how to play guitar, stuff like that. Buy like cymbals, you know. But at the time, I just came home um, from being a street pharmacologist, and I came home that summer, and I had a wild summer. I had a wild Marcus home summer. So when I met them, I still had that glow on me. It was weird. It was I had a weird. It was weird. It was a glow. I found that out later. Uh, my boy Ronnie told me. He said, "Man, you had a glow to you that night." He said something told me that you were supposed to be in the band because you had a glow to you. Um, so they told me I saw Trav because his brother used to hang out where I used to hang out. Well, I was talking about what there's a bunch of Latinos with it in that neighborhood. I used to see his brother, and I said, man. So when I saw Trav, I was like, man, he looked like a dude I know. I said, that gotta be his brother. They gotta be brother. Except Trav got the gray eyes, whatever. Trav looks Puerto Rican. Um, but I found out later, they're biracial. Um, but so in Ron, I had knew his sister. I knew his sister and I knew both his sisters. Sean was from Detroit, and Sean quit his job and left to join a band with Ronnie and Trav. Trav wrote lyrics and he rapped and everything, and he produced. Um, Ron played drums and percussion, and Sean played bass. And I was like, yeah. So in my mind, I'm like, you play drums? So I'm hyper competitive. I hate that. I'm hyper competitive. So I'm like, you play drums? He goes, yeah. I said, well, let me see your setup. So we talking drummer to drummer. We talking shop. He know I play drums, like just from what I'm talking about. So I go to his house, and you know they had a drum set up, and I was like, yo, what y'all like, and this and that, and they were talking about some stuff, and the stuff they talked about, I knew it. So I started playing it, and they were like, holy smokes. So then the dude Sean, just because he was into John Patitucci at the time, and I had just learned a bunch of John Patitucci stuff. I had learned all like on the corner, all that stuff, like all that stuff where he was murdering, and Vinny Colaiuta was playing drums like on all over that stuff. Him and Dave Wacko, all over that stuff. I had learned all that stuff. So I walk in there, and I know this stuff, you know. Um, but there was, as much as I see life, things were supposed to happen. There were certain things that I just, some things that happened. My boy Ron and my boy Trav, they good dudes. They're real good dudes. You know, um, that's why the three of us still kind of are connected. You know, I'm gonna just leave it like that, man. Just watch who you, even when you're in a band situation, man. Watch the character of the people that you're around. Cause I've seen crazy stuff happen. I've seen, The only reason why I don't want to talk about it is because I don't want to air out. I don't want to start airing stuff out. Now the people involved, they gonna know what I'm talking about, and they know I don't care. Because I'll be like, I'm sorry, bro, but it's already done. Sorry, sorry. I said what I said. You didn't like it, And the people that that are cool with me, they're not gonna say nothing because it's facts. I just don't like putting stuff out there. People. I've had some people do some dirty stuff to me. I've had people sell my stuff for like sell my drum set for like a $30 bag of weed for an eighth of weed. Crazy stuff like that. But they supposed to be my friends. You know, and that's all based on, but it's based on music. I met these people based on music. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we hung out and I knew the character of that person. This is just I met this dude, at a jam session or something, and we hung out, or whatever. Like I knew enough to not get involved with women. You know, uh, like I just didn't get involved with women. You know, I just didn't. I kept in music. You know, and the women I got involved with, I kind of let them know, like, look, don't catch feelings, cause music is my mistress. Music is my first love. When you gone, music gonna be there. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. You know, and a lot of women think they understand, but they don't like it. They don't like it. You know, my wife, this is what she wanted. This is what she wanted. That's the only so like the practice and the dedication, she doesn't mind it. She understands it. She used to dance. She started dancing when she was like 2. I got pictures of her. Her mom was a dance instructor. So she understands it. She gets it. Our kids, our kids are some of them, I don't know, man. All of our kids are artistic and very good at academics. And one of them's good at academics, he's good at sports, and he's good at art. So, but I tried to foster that too. When I got a certain age, I just started really, really concerning myself with my health. Well, really, this is what I did. When I turned 50 years old, I wanted to be 250 at 50. Um, and I didn't make it to 250. I made it to 242. I was massive. Massive. Brr. Massive. All natural. But I'm also a hyper responder. Like in terms of working out, I could do a half a push up and just blow right up. Um, um, but I just wanted to do it because trying to get that big, it's taxing on your health and on your skeletal system. Part of the reason why I lost the weight is like my knees. Your knees, your hips, and your ankles, and your feet. Puts a lot, and your lower back. But if you do a lot of crunches or like knee lifts, stuff like that, bicycles, you should be cool. But yeah, you know, that's one thing. I'll say this. That's one thing I've been fortunate enough about is that I've tried to maintain some kind of health. Like with everything I've done, and gone through, I've tried to maintain some kind of healthy living. You know, um, that stuff. If you're young, if y'all out there and you're young, take care of your health now. Take care of it now, because you're gonna live a lot longer than you realize. And that's the problem with youth. When you're young, you don't realize that you're gonna be living longer than you realize. You're like you're I'm past the age because there comes a time, there comes a certain time where your friends start dropping off. Like this one dies, that one dies, this one dies, that one dies. I'm past that. You know, you're gonna be alive a lot longer than you realize, and then you get to a certain point where you're like, wow, death is a lot closer than I realize. You know, so it's sobering. You know, and then, you know, at that point, it's about quality of life. How'd you take care of yourself? You know, because how you take care of yourself when you're young, you know, when you're like my age, I'm cool. I'm still playing basketball with my kids. I got weights over there. I'm working out. Still playing drums. Still healthy. Healthier than my wife, and she's 13 years younger than me. You know what I mean? I'm like the healthiest person in my house. You know what I mean? I eat real clean, you know. So, you know, word of advice. Thank you. You know, but yeah, take care of yourself, man. Take care of yourself when you're young. Because when you're older, I see a lot of my friends. I got family members, they're in bad shape. watching the clock. I don't know. I don't know. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, it's like 4 after 10, and my neighbors are really, really cool, so I don't want to. It. The irony is, it's quieter. What I'm doing is quieter in my house, like it's than it is outside. It's louder outside, but if once you're in a house, you're like, wow, you can barely hear it.